Alright, lads. We're fucking back with bullshit. I had an annoying thing going on.
I can't
But yeah, we're gonna be fucking continuing part two of what we were doing, and we have a bunch of other shit we gotta fucking watch. Let's.
tell you the amount of shit that I have to go through in order to go to a school, talk to a
By the way, we just watched fucking Andor episodes, the 3 new episodes came out. That shit was fucking crazy. But let's get back into it.
principal and say, "What did the kid tell you?"
This is crazy. It's almost like the system is designed to protect the criminals so that their
Yeah,
school can be
literally.
better.
And they'll go, "I
100%.
can't talk to you. I've got to talk to my lawyers." They're like, "It's in your job to protect the kids. I can't tell you how many." I'll tell you another one. I had a girl that was, man, I'm getting fucked up.
Oh my
That's
god, dude.
fucking wild. Like,
Yeah,
especially
bro.
if your own kiddo and then you don't even know. They come home, they're scared, they're confused, they have no idea what just happened.
Yeah, they
and
don't
then
know what the fuck is going
no
on.
one's telling them.
If
Like,
you
it's
were
not like
a
a
parent,
made up
that's
story.
Loyalty to the money above the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you should not be
I think
working
it's a
with
mix
kids.
of fear. I think it's the fear of there's a lot of
I
shit.
think it's fear. I think it's also reputation.
Fear and yeah, that goes
It-
into
it's a
fear.
whole
They're
lot of things, but it's
fearful of
awful.
losing
I
their
don't think it's like
reputation.
dirty money. I think it's a fear of losing your job. It's a fear of the people that are above you that are going to come back and get you.
Also, I'll be honest. Let's say it's not a good logic, but I think the people do think this way. That let's say you're running a school, all right? You're running a school, and in the school that you're running, it turns out one of the teachers that you hired rapes a kid. Now, if you fire the teacher and because whatever, and you get him arrested, let's say, and all that, your school will forever be known as the school where a teacher raped a kid.
Yeah.
Regardless of
What you do about it, yeah.
regardless of the fact that
Exactly what my friend was saying, what Alonzo was saying earlier about how fucking people think that my town is just racist now because of that shit that happened with the school, with kids that, weren't even there when I was there.
that you handled it as best you can. The questions will always be, how many more kids was this happening to? How many more teachers was this happening to?
Yeah.
And you get your funding. Obviously, I think money is definitely part of it. Obviously, money is a huge part of it. But at the same time, I think it's money, it's reputation. Again, this isn't obviously a defense. I just think this is the retarded shit that goes in people's brains. If you're a principal of a school, your number one priority should be protecting the children. This is insane. This is insane. Wait
Yeah.
until you see the second video and find out about the timeout room. Dude, I don't even know,
The
man.
timeout room, dude.
Fuck, man. This is horrible, dude. It always breaks my heart when I see like manly men cry. It breaks my heart. Like, this is not some
Yeah, that's
random
pretty
pussy.
fucked,
All right,
dude.
this isn't Idubbbz crying about it because he thought about his feelings and stuff. Like, this is heartbreaking shit.
I think it's the fear of stepping out of line and then getting reprimanded.
Bystander.
But like one of the cases that I had is a girl went to she got beat by her dad, who's a blood. He's a piece of shit. She got beat by her dad, and she went to a school counselor and said my dad beats me, and the school counselor didn't report it. School counselor's notes were like, this kid's a liar. She lies a lot about how cool she was.
By the way, this is why I say cops are heroes. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of cops that are shitty people, just like a lot of people in any group are
Dude,
shitty
I don't
people.
even. Oh, man.
But it's
bro.
stories like this that make me realize that, and makes me just want to remind you that these are the people that the country vilified for the last 5 years.
This is also why you shouldn't turn your kids into your enemies. Not your enemies, but this is why you shouldn't turn your kids into you shouldn't turn yourself into somebody that your kid cannot trust. Because if shit like this is happening to them, and at the end of the day, they can't come to you and confide in you about this shit. I don't know, man. I don't know what you're doing, to be honest, as a parent.
at another school, and you're like, oh, that's normal kid lying shit. What do I give a about that? So she didn't report it. And then the next incident happened where this girl had a video recording of, I forget if it was either her dad post beating her or if
Oh
it
my
was
God, dude.
during the beating or if it was of her injuries.
Dude.
I think it was over dad.
And that, oh man, and that's another thing too, dude. Fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. What was it?
I forget if it was either her dad post beating her or video recording it. That's normal kid lying shit. What
Yeah,
about
yeah,
school?
kid lying shit.
And you're like,
Dude, I feel like if you're somebody that works with kids, especially, like, you 100% are able to tell the difference between, you know, a kid just being a kid and a kid, you know, actually telling you, like, the truth. You know, like, like, if a kid's like, oh, yeah, last night fucking Chewbacca came and fucking shot down a Star Destroyer, fucking Channing Tatum saved me. You know, obviously that's just a kid fucking being a kid and lying type shit or whatever. But if a kid's coming in talking about, yeah, my dad beat the shit out of me and then fucking, you know, he R-worded me. I don't know, man. I don't really think that's something like a normal kid would be joking about or just saying, you know, just to be a kid. Like, what?
oh, that's normal kid lying shit. What do I give a about that? So she didn't report it. And then the next incident happened where this girl had a video recording of, I forget if it was either her
Oh,
dad
man.
post
Hold on, Chad. Did my fucking headset just die? The fuck was that?
beating her or if
Oh, wait, hold on.
beating or if it was of her injuries.
Dude.
I think it was of her dad punching her.
Oh, my God.
And
Punching
she
her is
walks into the
actually,
counselor's
like, what the
office
fuck?
with another girl, plays the video, and the woman's like, "Is that you?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's me." And then the girl walks out of the office. And then later on in the day, the counselor goes up to her and is like, "Hey, listen, what's going on with that video? Like, is that you? Like, what's going on?" She's like,
Oh
"Yeah,
my
that's
God,
me.
stop.
My dad beats me all the time." And then the kid walked away. Not reported. Not reported. Not reported CPS. Not reported.
Wow,
to the
dude,
police.
that's
Literally,
what a
why?
fucking
I don't even
failure as a
understand.
teacher.
What do they even have to lose at that point?
Yeah, like
What does
this
the school have
literally.
to lose? They don't want bad press so badly? Oh my God.
The third time is when my case comes in. The kid comes into school beaten and bruised and swollen, and then they remove the kid from the parents' custody, right? And then that's when I get the investigation.
Kid could have died.
Yeah, a kid could have
Like,
literally
the kid
died and it would
could've
have been
legit-
100%
if-
their
if
fault.
Dad is beating their child.
Like, if they fucking. Oh, man, dude. That kid could have totally died and it would have 100% been the school's fault because they literally just sat there with their thumbs up their asses and didn't do shit. They just fucking, you know, kept picking their noses and went about their day.
Like that multiple times, like to the point that there's like actual evidence and shit. Like he could have killed her.
100%.
Investigation of child abuse.
But it took 3 fucking times to
It
get
took
to
3
you.
times. The first time, it's easy.
Damn.
Hey, CPS. This girl says that she got beat. I don't really know what's going on. Here you go. And then CPS begins an investigation. And then the law enforcement referral from CPS comes to me. And then if CPS brings her in, does an interview, and it's valid, I go talk to dad and arrest him. That didn't happen the first time. The second time, there's video fucking proof. That she's got a video on her phone and shows you.
Dude.
And then you do nothing. And
Oh, man,
and yeah. And so like those are the two. That's one that I'm directly involved in. That's one that I happen to know about that I'm not investigating. And I can tell you that myself and the people in my unit are concerned, but we've made complaints, and people in my chain of command above me have made complaints, and we've had to go back to be like, let's look at this address of the school.
What's
that?
What's the outcome you want on this?
Dude.
Like I don't.
What can you even do?
I want the one school counselor that I investigated arrested for for failing to report.
100%.
You're not a school counselor if you don't know how to tell people that a child.
Oh my, that's even worse, dude. You're a fucking like that's literally like, you know, I don't want to say a teacher can get away with it, you know, because they're a teacher, so they have to teach a bunch of kids and blah blah blah, and you know, your whole job is to teach them these things, you know, not focus if they're getting beat at home, you know. I don't want to say they can get away with it, but it's more like it's more reasonable for a teacher for that to happen to a teacher rather than a school social worker. Like, it's unacceptable for a school social worker to do that, because it's like, dude, that's literally your fucking job. Your job is to literally look out for these kids and essentially give them therapy if they need it, and give them like a somebody that they can rely to and talk to. And you did the complete opposite, bro. You literally fed them to the dogs. Like, what the fuck? That's actually crazy.
Being abused. She needs to be arrested or at least charged. You want to put her on probation? Fucking fine. But something.
Ed, she should also never be allowed to work with kids again, dude. Given the fact that you clearly don't know what good judgment is and how to make, the right decisions, and you clearly don't know what the best judgment is for these kids and how to protect them. Clearly, you don't know what's right from wrong, what the fuck to do about it.
Something needs to happen. And I'm not saying it needs to happen.
No, I think that people need. All right, my opinion. If people are afraid to come out and talk about how people in their school are getting abused or whatever, people are afraid to do that. They should be more afraid.
Like, in my opinion, dude, let's look at it this way. If there is a school shooter and the teacher chooses to, like, protect themselves and just get themselves to safety, in let's imagine the situation, right? Let's imagine if there's a school shooter coming into the fucking into the school, and then you're a kid in the class, and all of a sudden your teacher just turns around and runs for their life and leaves you and your entire class just sitting there like fucking like geese, like just sitting ducks. Yeah. What the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Like, what do you think your parents are gonna say? What do you think the everybody? What do you think the media is gonna say? What do you think fucking the civilians are gonna say who are just outside standing and watching, dude? Like, what? They just get told that a teacher that's supposed to be leading the next generation, teaching them, and to a certain extent, you're supposed to be protecting these kids, dude. Like, you're supposed to be protecting these kids while they're in your custody, while they're at school, and you're just doing the complete opposite and just dipping them. Like, what? That's essentially what this woman did. Like, this child was literally getting hurt, and you literally looked the other way, dude. That's crazy.
Afraid of the consequences if they don't do that. They should be really made afraid. If they are
100%.
running a fucking school where this shit is happening and it's not being reported, and it's happened even once. I was gonna say more than once, but even if it happens once, then they absolutely need to be so terrified that if someone finds out their life is cooked, they have to be that afraid, and that will get them hopefully to come out themselves and tell these stories. I don't understand. These are children.
Yeah,
they are relying on you to take care of them. They are going to school. I'm appalled that this is reality.
Something
and
that
the
you
crazy
have to
thing
talk
is,
about.
I bet you that there are so many schools that are
do
going
the
through
same
the same shit.
Yeah, it's crazy,
And
dude.
they're just scared to say it.
Happen is like there's no legal system. I'm saying that there has to be a repercussion, so then people who see if you don't report because you didn't report, that there's
Basically,
repercussions.
So like the people aren't reporting because they're worried the system will fuck them.
Like, not reporting, like, that in itself should be a crime. Like, if you are presented with actual facts
But
and
if you
like
don't-
evidential data that suggests that something is happening, and as a matter of fact that thing that is happening is causing either physical or mental harm to your students, and you don't report it, dude, that should be seen as like you're an accomplice. Like, you were informed of this information. You had the power and the authority and the knowledge to do something about this, and not directly do something about it, but indirectly do something about it by alerting the proper authorities, and you still chose to do nothing. You chose to look the other way. That's like somebody robbing a bank, and then the cops are chasing the robber. The robber stops by your house, and you see him going into your garage, and you just look the other way. And then a cop comes and fucking asks you, and then when they get caught, they tell them that you fucking let them hide in there. The cops aren't gonna be like, "Oh, dude, what the fuck?" They're gonna think that you aided and abetted them. It's that simple.
don't report, the system will fuck you too.
So-
like you need to do your job.
It's like this dual concern, right? You don't have to talk to the police. Like, everybody has their own individual rights for self-preservation. Your Fourth Amendment rights. You don't have to Miranda rights. You don't have to talk to me. But it's different when you're a mandated reporter, and it's different when parents aren't being told why their kid. If you've got a kid, You don't
Oh,
have a kid
God.
yet. Not you either. If you picked up your fucking toddler from school and they pissed themselves and they're crying, and you're like, oh my God, what's Jimmy? What's going on with you? The first thing you would do is go up to the teacher and be like, hey, what happened? And you would expect a real answer. Somebody tried to steal Jimmy. What you wouldn't expect is for
Holy
that
shit.
school to delete video footage. What you wouldn't expect is for
That's
that school to
insane.
be
Yeah,
like,
that's some nefarious
Insane.
you
shit.
know what? You know,
And
Like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. If some shit like that happens, and the school, I'm being told that the school is deleting footage, and I find out the school is deleting footage, I'm instantly, first of all, I'm instantly suing. I'm never bringing my kid there again, and I'm also letting other parents know that this is probably like some scam or like some, child sex slavery ring or some shit like that. I'm thinking that they're in cahoots. I'm going to just automatically assume that you were in cahoots with this person, or that there was an inside job, or somebody in there was involved somehow. Because there's just no way. There's no way that a rational person, like a rational school that is supposed to be taking care of young children like this, is going to choose to protect themselves and their, their dignity and their fucking, their image. Basically, protecting their image over actually protecting the physical well-being of their fucking students. Like, what the fuck?
this is the story he heard. How many more stories just went under the radar?
I'm not sure. Something happened. You'll have to talk to an administrator about it. I'm not sure. About it. It's people that are afraid of doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like these school teachers and principals are
The entire education department is fucked.
afraid to do the right thing, and like I said, we can guess why. I've got my own hypothesis. This is why, but either way, they're failing to do the right thing for one reason or another, and some of them are bad. And I'll give you another example. This case might have been a fluke. It could have been like, kids experimenting and then one of them got scared. It could have been absolutely nothing. It still could be absolutely nothing. I've left 6 messages on a principal's voicemail saying, hey, I just need you to talk to me. I need the phone numbers of the parents. I only have the phone numbers of the kids. I don't want to call the kids. Right. Please give me the phone numbers of the parents, of the adults of these kids, of the police report that you called 911 for, to have police already show up. I just don't have the phone numbers for the parents, and I can't get a return phone call.
That's crazy. That's crazy. This gets worse and worse. It's like, imagine watching
Holy
a lot
crap.
of law enforcement trying their fucking hardest. Trying their hardest to stop kids from getting raped in schools. And you know who's not helping them? The school.
At that point, due to the fact that they're not, being cooperative and shit, I would just arrest them. I would just arrest the heads of the school under suspicion for involvement of this shit, and essentially hold what is it called? I forgot what it's called. The charge that they give you when you halt a police investigation. You're interrupting a police investigation. I forgot what that's called. But yeah, that's a charge. You could get charged for that. Like interrupting a police investigation and basically stopping them from, trying to investigate shit. Obstruction of a police investigation, because they literally did delete fucking footage, like on purpose, like that, like tampering of evidence. Like they should definitely arrest them for that shit, dude. Like you're deleting evidence. Like, who knows what could have been on that fucking film? Like, maybe they found that, one of their teachers were involved, and maybe they're trying to save their own skin.
Schools. I'm shocked. An actual system ran by pussies. This is fucking abysmal.
Like, actual disgusting people.
How many times do I got to call a school principal to be like, hey, there's a potential sexual assault. I just need to talk to the parents. And I can't get a return phone call?
It's fucking wild.
And like and for some reason they're protected. And my opinion from all of this and everything else is that it is the legal representatives of the Buffalo City schools that are
dude,
advising, educating,
yeah, I think that's
scaring,
a good,
whatever you want to say it is.
I
to
think
these
that's very
administrators, teachers, counselors. Don't talk to police. Don't make a police report. Have the police report, instead of say sexual assault, make it information only. Well, you want to bury a sexual assault with a kid? Have a fucking cop show up and then have them write down everybody's name and say information only, and then don't forward it to Special Victims Unit.
Yeah.
5 kids, 7 kids are by one other kid in the school.
Oh my god.
Right? They're 14, he's 16. It doesn't fucking matter if it's not a crime or if it was consensual. If somebody says I felt bad about it, it's my job to investigate it. Why are you stopping that?
I mean, he's right.
And so,
he's so right. Remember this for the next video? Oh my god. Oh Lord.
Yeah, dude, you're just silencing people. Like at the end of the day, any way you hack it, you're just silencing them. It's like, it's like you're trying to put lipstick on a pig and tell me it's not a fucking pig. Like if I cut that bitch open, and put it on a grill, it's still gonna taste like bacon, motherfucker. No matter how much lipstick and yeah, obviously it's gonna have a taste of lipstick and shit. But at the end of the day, it's just gonna be lipstick covered bacon.
Is going on. I think they got to go after the lawyers for this too, and I'm sure that the lawyers, they said things off the record in ways that it will never be traced. They'll never face repercussions for this kind of thing. This needs to go nuclear viral.
Yep.
I understand why everyone in my comments and audience have been telling me I needed to look into this. This needs to get
100%.
nuclear viral because every school, I think fear is a great motivator personally. Every school needs to be terrified that this is going to happen to their school if they hide this shit. That, in my opinion, that's important.
Yeah, I was going to do it on the main podcast. If you want to throw it at the end, that's cool. But I might be asking for financial assistance after this goes live. But I'm okay with it because
You're doing the right thing.
it's fucking me up. It's fucking me up. I can't deal with it no more.
Something that I've learned from our little podcast is ever since we've opened it up to like first responders, I've read a lot of those stories in there, and first responders do like PTSD. I think it's like for the active duty military when you go to war, it's like it's highs and lows. Like you just get a shit show or nothing. Like it's all over the place. But first responders, it's just a constant thing. And like you being in the smack dab middle of both, bro, I don't know how you do it. Like people in general, like cops in general who deal with like sex crimes or child sex crimes, I couldn't do it. I'd be going to prison.
Because it's the idea of like the, at least,
Dude.
when you're talking about military trauma, it's like that's
And that's also why they say not everybody should and can be a cop, dude. That's why they at least for the most part, this is why they have tests. Because exactly what he said, dude. That's also why I wouldn't trust myself to be a cop, dude. Because I wouldn't trust myself I wouldn't trust myself to know that, if I was put in a situation like that, where some kids like, torturing a kid and fucking raping it and raping the child and shit or whatever, I don't trust myself to know that I won't fucking kill that bastard right then and there. Or, somebody's fucking killing and torturing animals and shit. I don't trust myself to know that I won't fucking bash this guy's face in right then and there.
over there.
You're in war. Well, that's the thing. You're in war. You are fighting the enemy. You're like, chances are innocent aren't. You're not taking the life of an innocent. It's very rare. You're fighting enemy combatants. You're shooting blah blah blah, and then you come back and you're like, oh, and it's a separation versus here. And it's not the innocent you're seeing and then interacting with or pulling up to a crime scene, as you said. It's like, hey, there was a fucking drunk driver and a baby got smeared across the road. And then you have to go home immediately.
And know that's going on around you all the time.
Yeah.
It's like...
I mean, also, I think it's a lot of things also, including the fact that you're sending your kids to a school, right? Imagine going to a school and finding out that this shit is happening in a school. And then you have to wake up your son to go to school the next morning. Like, imagine...
Nah, my son's not doing that. Like, what?
It's horrifying.
At that point, I'm just homeschooling him, dude.
The war at home. Obviously, the war at home is, like, way more terrifying than a war on a distant battlefield.
Different world.
It's like an acute injury versus just, like, sustained overuse injury, almost.
Yeah.
Like, I would join the military and go to war over being a police officer. I'm so sorry. Any day.
I spilled one of my 4,000 White Claws.
White Claws, yeah.
Paper towels. I got them right here. Boom. Because of that
We
exact.
are down to 3,999 White Claws left on the table.
That was...
You're going to get pink
Get
lip.
the smelling salts.
Are you available later?
Did you just do a line of energy drink?
Yeah. Ooh, I
lot.
feel better after getting all that off my fucking chest.
Well, thank you for it, dude, brother.
Bro,
Thank
you
you.
have-
Damn.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
I'm honestly like I'm like for real like I'm fucking I feel like there is gonna be I am gonna have some sort of repercussions because I'm trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, he probably will. But I
Probably
hope
will, yeah.
that I hope that realistically, the impact of a podcast like this going viral will be
Too much. Too big to
will
rig.
be that schools will be more afraid to cover this shit
Too
up
big to rig.
because, who knows? Maybe some retard cop in some retard district is going to decide to go on some fucking podcast and obliterate your career. And not just ruin your career, but ruin your life. Because if someone is covering up pedophilia, then fuck that person.
Yeah, fuck
Like,
them. Fuck them right in
Maybe
the
they're not
fucking
on the
asshole.
same tier as the pedophile, but they're not too many tiers below that pedophile.
Nah. In my opinion, you're one and the same. You're like, like the pedophile's like right here. Certified, lover boy, certified pedophile. And like, you're like right here, dude. You know? It's like not much of a difference. Like you're talking about like a 0.1%, dude. Like it's literally not much of a difference. Like the only difference is that you didn't commit the act, but you still, knew that you basically helped this child get fucked. And you did nothing about it. As a matter of fact, you tried to hide it. It's one thing, doing nothing about it. Knowing and not doing it, like just being a bystander, Like for instance, it's one thing if you're just walking on the fucking side of the road or whatever, and you just happen to walk by somebody getting like mugged and beating the shit out of like in the middle of an alleyway. And then it's another thing to, park your car in front of the alleyway so then that way nobody sees them jumping this guy and robbing this guy. That's basically what these fucking school people did. They hid the truth. Like they hid the footage. They deleted the footage. It's basically the same analogy. It's like somebody fucking getting jumped in the alleyway and it's trying to say like you just minding your own business, but you're not at that point. You have committed an action that has impacted this situation and has either escalated or de-escalating it. And in this case, you escalated it. So in this case, you would be a villain because de-escalation would be you showing this to the proper authorities and getting this taken care of. That would be a de-escalation. That would be in the lines in the path of a hero. But you chose the villainous path, and you chose to fucking literally hide this. You went out of your way to hide this and delete the footage. Like, it's one thing if you just sit on your ass and do nothing, but at least give the cops the materials they need to do whatever they do, give them the footage. That, I guess that would be like a bystander, just give them that, and you give them the footage, and then you just wash your hands at it, and you just step back. And then it's another thing if you go out of your way to delete the footage, and in an effort to preserve yourself in the school. Like what?
Like
You're just as bad.
Man. Police whistleblower protection. All right, well, we'll finish this segment. Seems like it's still relevant.
We got your back.
Like I feel like people,
you have so many people that will have your back on that.
dude.
We will show our ass to make that happen.
I did that already.
On a different issue, yeah, you did literally do that.
Do cops have whistleblower protection? I know military does. Like, honest question.
Well, I mean, there's a whistleblower protection for everybody. So yeah, and like if there's like a legal thing where they're going to come after me, I bet you there is going to be a legal thing where they come after me, and I don't know how.
This guy's a fucking hero, by the way.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. Unless he's making this all up for clout, which there's no way he is. There is no way.
Dude, this guy's a cop, bro. This is not Hassan Piker. Like, he actually has something to lose here. A lot to lose.
He is.
We're talking about his whole career, not, a given stream by a rich family members that put you in this position like Hassan.
But, this is insane. This is absolutely insane.
Going to be protected or what that's going to be.
It's worked out
comes.
for you so far.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Definitely spread the news to your chat.
I don't know what
Don't worry,
I don't know what's
doing
going to
with
be
this
so
channel.
far, but
Bringing it to the
the
light.
things that I just said, right, and because I'm concerned about them. It's like I said, the one case is mine, and that's how I know about it. But these are concerns from higher ranking people in the Buffalo Police Department. These are concerns from patrol people in the Buffalo Police Department. These are concerns from the district attorney's office. Like the district attorney's office is like, yo, Rich, like I know what you're dealing with. This is fucked up. I've got this. I've got that. This is going on. That's how I know that like the lawyers from or that's the information that I'm getting that back up that thinking that the lawyers that represent the schools are not just not responding but also obstructionists.
Yeah, no, they need
which
to go to
is
jail.
what
They need to go to jail.
like,
I mean, this is just lawyers in a nutshell, right? Realistic.
That's what I was saying before, chat. Literally obstruction. Like they technically can and should be arrested and prosecuted for obstruction of police fucking investigation and tampering and tampering destruction of evidence. Like that, they should have done that right there at the spot. The cops should have immediately asked who deleted the footage, and based on their answers, and if they don't want to give anybody out, if they don't want to fucking give away the name of the employee, then you arrest the head. Just simple as that.
Basically, okay, this is another one of those nuts hot
Arrest
takes
anybody
that
in charge.
people think is retarded until you think about it for a second. But I think that the entire concept of a lawyer needs to change. It is so toxic. I don't know why lawyers even exist. Like, the laws of the country are so fucking complicated that you need these special licensed people to interpret them and find ways to literally lie on your behalf. This is coming from a Jewish guy, by the way. I have 4,000 lawyer cousins, all right? Every stereotype, it's all true. All of it's true. It's all real. But I hate lawyers on a conceptual level. Obviously, you're going to have great lawyers. You're going to have bad lawyers. Just like every group of people, you have good people and bad people.
Well, we're not going to go into that because I don't know if I completely agree with that. I do believe that we do need to have lawyers because sometimes the law can overstep and, they could fuck you and, for instance, not get... Like, the whole reason why we even have the Miranda rights is because of lawyers and because of, that, that whole situation, where this person was fucked by the law. They were, arrested and, evidence used, evidence obtained and used unjustly against them. Like, you can't break the law in order to stop somebody from breaking the law. Like, two wrongs don't make a right. That's why we have lawyers, to combat those. You can't be judging somebody while at the same time doing the very thing that you're judging them for. Like, that's, what? That's why we have lawyers to, pull people, to check people, It's like, you can't fuck with my client when you're also doing this, bro. It's like, your words don't really mean nothing now.
But the concept of lawyers.
If you don't read, get your Miranda rights reading to you, you got to know your rights, dude. It's not like they're just there for nothing either.
The idea that you are not here to represent the truth or the law. You are here to make sure your client gets away with as much as they can. Think about how insane that is. Lawyers can advise clients not to talk, but lawyers not allowed to delete evidence. I am aware of that. But, dude, that's crazy.
And if I can be frank, I think everybody in the world is going to be like, so let me get this right. You're a lawyer, and instead of assisting the police...
I mean, he hates it, dude, but hey, that's kind of what makes America America, too, at the same time, because... If it was any other different, then we wouldn't be America. Like, that's kind of what it means to be America, is having the ability to prove whether, can you imagine, if we lived in, a place like China or anywhere, anywhere else where it's, 99% conviction rate, if you're being brought to court, it's because you're 100%, being convicted and, basically, even if you do try to defend yourself, it won't really matter, because it's 99% conviction, and if you're in court, it basically means you're guaranteed to go to fucking jail or whatnot. Nah, dude, that's kind of why we have this shit. So it's not just fucking it's not just he did this and he did that and that's the end of it. No, you actually have to prove that I did this shit, with actual facts and evidence, and prove that I did this shit. And just with me, if I actually did something, I would actually have to prove that I didn't do this and that I'm actually innocent. Actually, you should have the right to defend myself and prove my innocence.
Department in protecting
it cuts
kids.
Both ways.
Forgetting what the allegiance to the...
It's kind of like, anonymity or freedom of speech. It's it only works if it applies to everybody, regardless of the situation. It's either everybody has it or nobody has it. Because you can't just start playing selective role, you can't just start being on some Twitch shit, where it's we'll ban Tectone for fucking calling Frogan a fat fucking lard. But then when Frogan calls somebody else fucking like an ugly piece of shit, it's completely fine. Like, what the fuck?
The lawyer. The lawyer's allegiance is to himself. And the lawyer obviously wants his clients to like him because that'll be very helpful because they pay him. And he wants the people that pay him to like him and recommend him to other people that'll pay him. So you got to realize his allegiance is to himself, not to the kids, not to the police. Obviously, that's a very bleak look at life, but I do believe most people operate in their own self-interest, for sure.
100%.
For example, I think that's why AOC will never talk about the story. She is a congresswoman in New York. I understand this is not her district, but she is a congresswoman in New York, for example. Letitia, whatever her name is, the fat lady that keeps yelling about Doge. She will yell about Doge all the time, even though she is a, what is she? A Department of Justice person, district judge, whatever the fuck she is of New York. And these people only care about their careers. They literally will only care about their careers.
100%.
Buffalo, New York
That's
City
what
are 8
politics are.
hours apart, all right? And El Salvador is a lot more than 8 hours drive apart, and they fly to El Salvador to glaze terrorists. Okay? So don't give me this 8 hours apart bullshit.
Because
The Attorney General, thank you.
Yeah, for real.
So,
Like, you're willing to
Big
go
Mac
all the way to El
destroying
Salvador
Tish.
to get like a fucking a gang member terrorist? Yeah, literally. I don't even have to say gang member anymore because fucking gangs are considered fucking terrorist groups. You're willing to go all the way to fucking El Salvador to essentially kidnap and steal one of their fucking locals, which also happens to be a fucking terrorist, and you want to bring them back over here for what? But you won't talk about this shit? Like you're willing to go like fucking thousands of miles, like literally basically across an ocean, to kidnap a fucking foreign terrorist individual and bring him back over here, but you won't travel 8 hours to see why a school district is allowing kids to basically get F'd in the A.
Out there, the Attorney
Okay.
General of New York is sitting there, sitting pretty, well, not so pretty, sitting in multiple time zones at the same time, and she was probably never going to talk about this because it'll look really shitty. Welcome to the modern media and modern politics where you don't want to bring people's attention to bad situations that happen under your watch.
you represent the schools, instead of assisting them, you're going to intentionally obstruct them. You're going
Yeah.
to not respond to subpoenas. You're going to not respond to court orders. You're going to think that you're so high above the law and you've got no repercussions have happened to them, because like you need somebody above a judge. Like, what's the judge going to do? Hey, give this to me. Yeah, I haven't given you anything, and I'm not going to give you anything, and nothing happens. Like, where the else do you go? The commissioner of police can't do shit about that.
True.
I mean, maybe we can make an arrest here or there, but then we need the assistant district attorneys and the district attorney of Erie County.
And how many layers of bureaucracy do you need to go through while they're destroying evidence to protect
literally.
kids from getting raped in school? I really feel like this is one of those unanimous things. Everyone should kind of come together for this one. What is happening?
To have her back and do that. And if there's assistant district attorneys that are like, dude, these lawyers aren't even responding to us. Like, we don't know what, like, we got to get somebody higher above our DA to do something, or the DA to do something. I don't know, like, who can do something. And it's gotten so bad in the schools that, like, this is my, like, I don't know. I just gotta, like, talking to a shrink and fucking, and this.
I
No,
just hate how bad it's gotten to the fact where you believe that the unsubscribed podcast is the best outlet, because Jesus Christ.
Think about it. He's so right. He's literally so right. The best outlet to talk about. And you got to realize, this isn't just like a parent that heard about this. This is a fucking cop. This is a room full of cops and politicians.
Yeah, it's like a
right?
straight up police
Brandon
officer.
Herrera's
Like
a
he,
politician. So this is a room of cops and
like
politicians.
technically he would have no chips in the horse, and he probably cares the most. Because like how a lot of people like to argue, cops technically don't have to protect you, dude. They're just there to protect, like fucking infrastructure and like private property, public property, whatever it is. Like, yeah, obviously if you call the cops because somebody's trying to fucking kill you, they actually have to show up and do something about it. But for the most part, you know, they don't have to like risk their lives to fucking save you or not. Like for instance, if somebody's lunging at you with a knife, a cop technically does not have to stop him until he's committed the crime. Like until he's actually already stabbed and killed you or whatever. Like a cop is not obligated to jump in front of the knife and stop it or fucking, you know, shoot this guy before he shoots you. Like a cop is only technically required to act when a crime has been committed. So until the crime has been committed, he could technically just sit there and watch you fucking, you know, get stabbed. So it's like, you know, rare to actually see fucking people that care.
And they're like, the best way to shut down pedophiles in schools is not to go through the legal ways. It's not to go through the system, but it's to talk about it on a podcast.
On a podcast.
Cops, veterans, and politicians went to a podcast to stop a pedophile from raping children. Like, why is this YouTubers' jobs? How did this become podcasters that are doing this shit? God, I never want it to be that important. I don't want to be important. I just want to make fun of retards on the internet. Brandon's slogan was "Make politicians afraid again." That is a fucking fire slogan.
Yeah,
that is a fantastic slogan.
That's a pretty good one,
I fully
yeah.
support that. Politicians should be terrified. I think that, you know, as Biden said, to quote Biden,
As Sleepy Joe said.
no wars would have said
That
it about us.
cuck-faced pony soldier.
Quote Biden, everyone is equal under the law. And then he pardoned all of his children and Fauci for fucking presidential pardons.
Bro,
I mean,
but
on the
I
plus
already
side,
know, I can guarantee this will light a fire. Fuck that school
on the
system.
plus
That's
side.
part two, because it's like, because you know, we know you, we love you, we're here
Yeah.
for you. Like we're.
I know
ride
that
or
you
die.
guys will do your best to protect me, but at the same time, like, if these people are like, hey, because I know what's going to happen, right?
I would fundraise for this guy for sure.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it never comes down to that, because I hope that the villains in this story actually recognize the fact that they are the villains in this story
They're not
and
going
don't
to,
come
dude.
after him. However, if he ever does need it, I would absolutely help fundraise for this guy. I'm shocked. I'm shocked and appalled that this is going down.
And I'm not an idiot. I've been around the legal system long enough, and I know how if you shake the right tree, something's going to happen. Like, I know what's going to happen is they're going to say that whatever I said, they're going to pick it apart. They're going to go through all my videos. They're going to go through this right now, what I'm saying, and they're going to go, you violated this, and this of your department's policy and procedure. And they're going to go, and you violated this, and this of whatever procedure, and you should be fired. You need to be removed. You're suspended, and here you go. And so what's going to happen is a guy, myself, if I can toot my own horn, who's a hard worker, who's been crushing his cases, who my lieutenant and my chief of detectives can vouch as like an asset in whatever unit I go to, especially under the investigative unit of being, you know, special victims or others. Like,
A good ass cop.
yeah,
Like,
so
a good ass police officer.
so I know that I just know the squeeze is going to happen to where there's going to be, I feel like there's going to be negative repercussions on my career, and they're going to come after me for it.
Oh, 100%.
Welcome to reality. The media doesn't like the pushback. I think one thing that terrifies the media.
Why would they
immensely is the
not
fact
come
that,
after your
YouTubers
career? You're literally
do
trying
their
to like
jobs
fuck over the entire school and basically try to like fucking expose them to the light for being like the fucking cover-ups that they are.
better than they do. And they are slowly being edged out. They are going to try their best to discredit independent voices because they prefer the actual current media enclave to survive. They want to be the ones setting the tone, setting the narrative, and telling the truths that they want the people to hear. And they don't want this shit. He is absolutely making enemies by doing this. And realistic.
Because just that, if nobody else has done this yet, why?
Wait, can we? I guarantee we could pull way more money than their attorneys do.
Damn.
Oh, 100%.
It's crazy to even think about this happening. And the wildest part is, like, if he wouldn't have just gone on this podcast and he would have said anything, nothing would have happened.
Nothing would have
This
ever been done.
kidnapper, pedophile guy, allegedly, would have just gotten away with more shit. Because and something awful about pedophiles is that
They'll keep doing it
they're
until they
usually
get caught.
repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Like, that's a real statistic. God damn. White House contacts, slippery slope. Thank you. Conclusion. Yeah, I feel like if you want to finish the podcast, you should definitely check it out. But I feel like we got through the meat of this situation. I already have people telling me I need to watch the follow-up video on this. Maybe I will. Let me know if I should. But definitely check them out. I'll, of course, link this in the description. Rich is not suicidal if anything happens. Holy shit, man. Holy shit. But
Rich
yeah,
is
definitely
not
spread
suicidal,
the story
chat.
around.
If anything
Dude,
happens.
and the craziest thing, I didn't even see people talking about this. Buffalo school system. Like, this is crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised
Dude,
if
the
there is
power
some
of a
sex
podcast.
slavery ring.
And in my opinion, and from my perspective, the reason why this is so, like, fucked up.
It's because it's
Well,
kids,
aside
dude.
from obviously, aside from the obvious, aside from the incredible obvious that there were kids that were getting abused and kidnapped and shit. This is a school that was found out by a cop after so many things were covered up. Could you imagine how many schools have shit like this going on that are just getting successfully covered up, and cops that don't have integrity or a platform aren't able to actually get the story across? Even if you look up Buffalo school system, like, even if you look this up on YouTube, this is their episode. This is their episode. Buffalo schools. Wow, holy shit.
And right now, we continue to take a much closer look
Whoa,
at the Buffalo
what the
Public.
And it's because of his podcast. Do you see this?
Holy
it's because
shit,
of the podcast.
because
I
of
told
his
you.
podcast,
That's
yeah.
the only thing that's actually going to motivate the media to talk when everyone starts knowing it's happening.
I mean, dude, if they were fucking deleting videos and shit and barely even trying to work with the cops, what the fuck makes you think they're not going to try to silence everything and try to not put this in the media, dude?
School district after shocking allegations were made by a Buffalo police detective over the weekend.
One of the questions raised from that podcast was, how often are Buffalo police responding to the schools, and for what reason? Two on Your Side's Nate Benson has been digging into that for us, and you have some staggering figures to share.
Yeah, that's right, Mary Alice. I submitted a Freedom of Information request
Look
after
at the mainstream media out here. Mainstream media out here looking like absolute clowns. I mean, nothing but respect for them for, addressing it now that the whistle has been blown. But look at them. Look at them sitting there, making believe they're important, biting at the hands of a fucking podcast run by a bunch of YouTubers because the fucking real life people failed at their jobs. Like, unbelievable.
Said the real life.
The Buffalo police detective Richard High went on that podcast and made those claims against the district.
He couldn't even say the word podcast. He stumbled 14 times. God damn. God damn.
And the data I received raises a lot more questions.
Really?
That is a shocking
think
number
so?
of phone calls made to the,
You
to the
honestly
police
think so?
department.
That was the response
I
from Buffalo
couldn't
Teachers
see
Federation
why.
President Rich Nigro when I shared with him what I'm about to share with you at home. Since September 20...
That might be one of the most unfortunate last names I've ever heard in my entire life. I mean, no offense, but dude, bro, what's his last name? Nah, dude.
President Rich Nigro.
No, dude. That's crazy.
Nah, yeah,
Incredibly
that's
unfortunate last name.
yeah.
I shared with him what I'm about to share with you at home. Since September 2021, the Buffalo Police
All
have
right, 4
responded
years,
to
less than 4 years, 3.5 years.
calls at 56 Buffalo schools more than 17,700 times.
Holy fuck, dude.
Nah,
That's actually insane.
nah. 17,772. He said 56 schools. That's 317 times per school. And that is over, how many years? 3.5 years. So let's say, let's say it was 3 years, divided by 3. That is an average of 100 phone calls per school per year. This is an epidemic. This is an epidemic.
Holy
shit!
shit.
Making fun of AOC and other retards.
Yeah, I
did not
thought
think
this
it
was
got
gonna
this
be
dark.
like
Right? How many days are in a school year?
exactly
Right?
that, making fun of AOC, and
An
it just turned into
academic
some
year is
fucked up
180 days.
shit,
There are
dude.
180 days in a school year. So on average, there is a call from every school to a police department regarding endangering a child every 2 days from every school. This is crazy.
That's crazy,
And
dude.
none
My
of them
voice even
gets
cracked.
investigation. Holy shit. Every 2 days, there is more than one call from every school individually That is mind-boggling. Oh my God. And guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Guess who's defending the Department of Education? Pretty funny, right? I thought it was pretty funny.
Yes, we're paying these fuckers to fuck our kids.
Fuck, man. But don't worry, because Big Letitia says that Doge is the biggest problem faced by New York. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this this segment up here.
Yeah,
Terrible.
that bummed me out enough. I'm kind of fucking done talking about this, dude. This just made me mad. Like, I can't believe we're really just letting down the youth this bad, man. And then in like, 10, 20 years when these kids grow up, we're gonna be shocked when there's like a lot of kids that have fucking problems and shit, and there's like a bunch of Diddy's and Jeffrey Epstein's walking around, Like, nowadays, your average parents, your average fucking mother and father of like a kid are like OnlyFans fucking, couple, and they're fucking each other and having the whole world see it and shit. And then they just be forgetting that, the internet is the internet. That's going to stay there forever. And then when the kid grows up, they're going to be confused why their kid's walking up asking them, what Pound Town is and shit. Why the fuck you filmed, why you filmed yourself for money fucking your mom and shit. And you're going to be confused when your kid, treats women like objects. But anyways, fucking, that's enough for negativity for one day. See you guys in the next video, man. This was a pretty dark turn. Hopefully we don't take any more. Later.